Hey everybody, this is Ryan Howard and welcome to the Phillies Show.
Ruben Amaro Jr., Jim Salisbury, Todd Zolecki. It is Monday, September 22nd, 2025. Hope everybody is doing well. Little change of pace today. Jim's on assignment. Ruben, a little change of pace today.
No breaking ball.
We've got a not a surprise guest. If you're watching us, you know who the guest is. But let's talk about our guest. Let's jump into the Parks first pitch. First pitch is brought to us exclusively by our partners at Parks Casino, Pennsylvania's #1 casino. We had Ryan Howard on the show. Ruben, you and I got a chance to talk to him late last week. And the Ryan Howard that you guys are going to listen to, watch today was my experience with Ryan Howard, his entire Phillies career. Just a fun guy to talk to, makes you laugh, good guy. And we had him on for a lot of different reasons, talking about Kyle Schwarber season, his 58 home run season. He's got a podcast out with Jimmy Rollins called the 611 podcast. Told some great Chase Utley stories. Ruben, what'd you like about the Ryan Howard chat we had the other day?
Yeah, I don't know what the perception is out there about Ryan because, when you think about sluggers, you just don't know what their personalities are like. But this is a guy, as you said, Todd, who's just a fun, happy, kind, wonderful man and really, really humble guy. I mean, he accomplished a lot in the game. He was one of the best hitters, if not the best hitters in the National League for about 5 or 6 years. I mean, best run producers in the game. And yet he stayed very, very humble, great person, good family man. And I thought it was just really cool how he talked about and described what Schwarber's going through. He went in that pursuit to 60. Now Schwarber went down the pursuit to 50, and now on his own pursuit to try to get to where Ryan was. But it was really neat to listen to him and to have him talk about his experience during the course of his tenure there with the Phillies.
Yeah, we think you guys are really going to enjoy this. So without further ado, here is Ryan Howard. And of course, that was First Pitch, brought to you exclusively by our partners at Parks Casino, Pennsylvania's #1 casino. ParksCasino.com is the website. You must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Ryan, thank you so much for joining the Philly Show. We're really excited to have you. Jim Salisbury is also on this show, but he couldn't make it. So I asked Jim, I said, do you have any questions for the big piece? And he said, I only have one question. Please ask Ryan if he's still keeping it crispy.
Man, like always, man, with a two-piece with a biscuit. Steaks always coming through, man. Steaks. I love them.
He had to ask that question, so he's going to be very happy.
Love it.
He's very happy to know you're keeping it crispy. A lot of stuff we want to talk to you about, of course, and one of them is, you're doing this new podcast. It's not even new right now, but with your young James, as you like to call him. It's called the 611 podcast, and it's been a lot of fun. I listen. I'm a listener. You've had Chase on. You've had Pedro Martinez on. You just had Simon Gratz legend Rasheed Wallace on the show. What have you enjoyed about it, and how do you feel about being on the other end and having to ask questions of people
coming to the dark side,
the guy that has to answer the questions?
Well, first, greatly appreciate it, listening and tuning in. It's been a lot of fun. I had a lot of great mentors to learn from over my career, the John Salisburys and Todd Zoleckis and all those folks that would come into the clubhouse and just ask all different kinds of questions. But you know what? I went to school for communications mass media. So, it's the first thing was just going and just having a lot of fun with it and being able to have the guests on and just kind of sit back and chop it up, as we like to speak, and hear their stories and learn about their paths to success and what they've gone through, their trials, their errors, and being able to share that with everybody has been something that's been really eye-opening and a lot of fun doing.
So I had some questions about that. Like, you've obviously had some really great guests on there. Is there anybody in particular you haven't had on there that you would consider like your dream guest? I mean, either in the baseball world or otherwise, that you would really love to have on there. Anybody you like to really break it down with?
Oh man. I mean, there's so many different people, I think, from different aspects. I think a sport from the sporting aspect. I would love to get MJ on there. I'd love to get, Michael Jordan
Yeah.
on there. And he's one of the guys I grew up watching and just kind of learn more about his story. I think too, um, just as we try to hit different genres, right, of people, different entertainers, a Jay-Z or somebody like that would be great, to kind of hear their perspectives on their past, because it's the cool thing about it is, is the journeys are the backbone of the journeys are all pretty much the same, right? But the paths are different in the sense of where it is, whether it's business, whether it's music, whether it's sports. You still have to put in the work, you have to put in the time, you have to put in the grind, right? And there's always going to be some type of hurdle that you've got to get over. So how do you respond, how do you react to that? And everybody that's kind of had some type of success. We had Michael Rubin on, as one of our earlier shows, and he was kind of going through his trials and tribulations. It's all about how you respond to it. So it's really cool hearing everybody's different aspects and perspectives on that.
You definitely, I've learned a lot. It was great having Chase on, having Pedro Martinez on was a lot of fun. I learned some things about you guys that I did not know. I learned that your nickname, besides the Big Piece, is the Big Sexy. I'm going to leave it
Yes.
right there. If you want to know why Ryan is called the Big Sexy, you got to go listen to Pedro Martinez podcast. But have you learned anything new about J-Roll since you've been doing this podcast? Is anything popping up?
I mean, it's pretty much all still the usual suspect. Like Jimmy is smooth. He's great, man. I mean, obviously, I watch him on TV. I watch you guys on TV. Rube, you're doing an amazing job, man. Congrats on that. As you know, too, making these types of transitions, it's different. When
Yeah.
you're like Todd said in the beginning, it's like you go from the person being asked the questions to the person asking the questions. So it's all about, the deliveries and the flows and everything. But Jimmy's great, man. We just try to get out there, just have fun, and just continue to feed off each other.
That's really cool. You've gone through like a bunch of things personally. I'm sure you're like sort of, I would assume you're keeping an eye on what's going on with Kyle Schwarber, with his season and the fact that he's, sort of closing in a little bit on your home run record. I mean, that was an historic season that I got to enjoy and watch and obviously watched your overall development as a slugger and as a hitter. I was wondering, like, are you following what's going on? Are you rooting for him? Are you not rooting for him? How big of a Phillies fan are you? What's your take on this whole thing?
Man, I follow the boys. I follow them all the time. I'm a Schwarber fan. I love Kyle. Like, the funny thing is that when we trained together in Tampa, because we were both part of the same agency. We were both with CAA, and we trained together in Tampa at a spot called Saddlebrook. So this was when he was first breaking into the league. I think he was still with the Cubs. And so I got to see him, we were training, working out, doing all that kind of stuff and hitting. And I was watching him. I was like, this dude's got some sock him. He's got some stupid pop. But even more so, like, he was just a great, like, down to earth, like, humble person, right? And so I was like, this dude's he's gonna be good. So it doesn't surprise me one bit. I'm excited for him. Yeah, I'm rooting for him. I'm cheering for him. I know it's the fans. The fans love it. What I did in 2006. Like, it's one of those things where it was just a pure kind of like video game blackout moment in a sense. I remember telling Jimmy the one time, I think I told Jimmy, I think it was on a stretch. I was like, man, Jay, like, I haven't hit a homer in like a week or something. And he looked at me and he said, shut up. Like, I'm struggling. I was like, I'm struggling, bro. I haven't hit a homer in like a week or something like that. And he's like, shut up. I think I went and hit like 2 that night or whatnot. But when you're in a zone, like he's in a zone right now and putting together great ABs, that's the other thing too, is he doesn't waste ABs. That's been key. And Rube, as you know, like, you get a guy, Kyle's a guy that when he gets going, he can carry a team. And I think with what the guys have been able to do thus far and getting into the postseason, right now everybody's clicking on all cylinders, which is what you want and what you need. But Kyle's been a guy that when they needed him, he can put them on his back.
More from Ryan Howard in a second. Don't forget, guys, we have Philly Show swag at thephillyshowshop.com.
Swagalicious.
Swagalicious swag, thephillyshowshop.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, scan the QR code, takes you to the site. Hoodies, t-shirts, duffel bags, coffee mugs, travel mugs, all sorts of awesome stuff. So make sure to check that out. And Ruben, what's going on at Parks and Bet Parks?
Oh, there's a lot going on. Bet Parks is the only online sportsbook and casino app I would recommend. Live bet while you watch all the pro and college football action and the Philadelphia baseball playoffs. My team at Bet Parks Online Sportsbook and Casino has a great offer for new users. Download that app, open an account, and get up to $50 back on your first sports bet if it doesn't win. Plus, you'll get a Bet Parks bonus box with 50 Bet Parks coins and 50 bonus spins on the Bet Parks Collect Them online slot game. Bet football, baseball, the pro golf tour, Saturday morning soccer, MMA fighting, and so much more. You can do it all. Bet more than the score. Bet players' touchdowns, rushing and passing yards, and more. For full terms and conditions, visit betparks.com. Bet Parks, where there's always another way to win. Must be 21, located in PA or New Jersey. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
What do you like about his swing? I mean, he's got such a short, quick, fast, powerful swing. What do you kind of admire about it? What do you like about watching him hit, I guess?
It's just that. So like when you watch guys that hit home runs, there's always a certain aspect to their swing. And there's always like a certain type of, I don't know, just different explosiveness and finish to their swing. Like I always loved watching Prince Fielder hit homers. Like I loved when we played Milwaukee, right? Because when Prince hit a homer, it was almost like the bat would just explode out of his hands, right? Kyle's one of those guys where it's like it's so quick and it's just everything stops. I don't know, like when I'm watching it, it's like it just seems like everything after the swing just stops because the ball just explodes off his bat, and it's so quick and it's so short, as you said, that he just puts the fat part on the bat or fat part of the bat on the ball, and the rest just takes care of itself, man. I mean, it's like he's not trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. It's like he's just letting the ball run into the bat or letting the bat run into the ball.
I mean, one of the things I admired about you is that you had that ability to just take a nice, smooth, easy swing and drive the ball. I mean, you would hit majestic home runs, even the opposite way. Like that, it was like you were like a left-handed hitting, power hitting, right-handed hitter when you were hitting balls out. It was really, really awesome. I mean, you always had that ability to drive the ball the other way. Can you talk a little bit about how Charlie's influence when you were a little bit younger, as you were moving forward, how that like all that development of like hitting the ball to the right side of the field and you still utilizing that power, what kind of influence Charlie had on your swing?
Yeah, I mean, Charlie was great. Charlie always had, the positive reinforcement and building it up. And for me, actually, I was a dead pull hitter in high school growing up. I did not know what center field or left field was because my thought process, I was very raw. So my thought process was if I'm not hitting it down here, I'm late, right? If I'm hitting it anywhere else, I'm late. And it wasn't actually until I got to college that my coach, shout out my man Keith Gutton, Missouri State University.
Yeah.
My man G was the one who opened me up to the entire field. So he took me and he said, "Hey, we're going to make your foul poles from right center to left center," which basically it just opened up the entire field for me. And it actually slowed everything down to where I was able to recognize pitches a lot better because I stayed up the middle of the field. Now, where Charlie came into play in the minor leagues, where he came in, Charlie would notice at times I would close myself off too much. So just like with Tommy, how Tommy would hold the bat out towards the pitcher, Charlie had me start to do that, so it aligned myself up where I was open and could see the pitcher with both eyes. And
Mm.
then that helped me even more to where it's like, okay, some of those balls that were more middle in, I was able to kind of turn on them and then stay back up the middle and then again go away. So the fun part about it was I used to I feel like I used to bait pitchers in because Rube, you used to see me all the time. I stood way off the plate.
Yep.
And so I swung a longer bat. I swung a bigger bat. My bat was like 35 inches, 34 ounces.
Yep.
And so those guys would see me so far off the plate that they would throw it middle away and sometimes even off the plate away. And I was still able to get barrel on it. So for me, I wanted to try to stay in the middle of the field. So by doing that, I stepped off the plate. So now middle is away is away, in is now middle. And anything that's more off the plate in, like, yeah, I can catch it. I think there was one pitch that and the reason why I don't forget this is because I don't know how I hit it. Was off of there was like a slider from John Smoltz that was like down and in, like off the plate, and I don't know what happened. I just somehow got the barrel to it. But again, being off the plate, there's no other way. If I'm on the plate, I'm missing that or I'm fouling it off my shin.
You mentioned like the slider off Smoltz. Does anything stick out about that 58 home run season? Any one of those specific home runs? Is it the obvious one, the Tim Hudson 3-homer game when he hit 50, 51, 52? Anything else jump out about that season?
Yeah, there was two. There was, I mean, obviously that game was fun.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it was
then
fun. It was fun to
yeah,
watch.
that was a good day. And then and I would say the Mike Mussina home run. The game that the one to the third deck and seeing Mad Dog and Brett Meyer's reaction like when it landed. So I mean, it was when I hit it, I was like, oof, that felt. There's those times where you hit a ball and you feel like you didn't even feel it, and I was like, oh, that felt good, like I didn't even feel it. And then the next thing, it was just it landed in the third deck. So, yeah, that reaction that was a good one too. And I
I'm
will
gonna have
say
to
there was
listen.
another one. There was another one in Houston, Rube, that
Okay.
I feel I got robbed in Houston. I think it was off. Who is it? Like, what was it? Wandy Rodriguez.
Maybe.
I hit it. I think it was against Wandy, and I hit it oppo. It was a day game in Houston. Smoked the guy in the chest in the front row in Houston in left field, and they called it a double because of the glare from the sun, so they couldn't tell, and we didn't have replay back
Wow.
then.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what? That's
I
funny.
remember.
One question I had about so people often ask this question. I mean, do you ever really, or how many times in your career do you think you actually tried to hit a ball out of the ballpark? Like on this particular swing, I'm going to try. I'm thinking about hitting it out. Did you do that a lot, or did it just happen
There,
naturally?
there
Because I've
were.
done it one time. I did it one time and I actually hit a home run. It was in the minor leagues where I actually wanted to hit one home run out. That was the only time I ever did it my whole life. Now I couldn't hit home runs, but I was just curious, like a power hitter like yourself, do you actually think to the go and in one particular swing, okay, I'm hitting this ball out of the ballpark?
Majority of the time it's all natural. Like it's just reactionary and it happens. There's some times where either like you get into a certain count and like you're 1,000% sure like this is what this guy is going to throw me, like I'm not missing this. Yeah, yeah, I forget the guy's name. He was a pitcher on the Nationals. I think I hit like two grand slams off the guy, and he was the second ball that I hit in the third deck. And I just remember when he threw it, I was sitting dead red changeup, and I remember I was like, he throws his changeup, I'm hitting this thing out of the ballpark, like we're going to the street. And when as soon as I hit, I was like, oof, that might leave everything. I felt like it felt better than the one off of Mussina, and that time was like one of those times where I knew like, okay, if they give me this pitch, I'm gonna be. But you have to be feeling good though, too, right? Your swing and everything's got to be feeling good to where you're even telling yourself that as a hitter, because you can't go up there feeling like garbage and be like, all right, I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna hit this out. Like everything's got to be in flow right there.
It's funny you should say that because for me, I mean, I don't know, this is not a story about me, but you remember Dave Osteen was a big changeup
Yeah.
guy, but Claude Osteen used to be a pitching coach for many, many years in the big league, pitched in the big leagues. So Dave Osteen, same thing. I sat on a changeup. He's throwing me a changeup. I'm going to hit this one out. And I actually hit it out of the stadium in Little Rock, Arkansas, which was weird. But because I had no pop, but he actually threw it. I went, oh my goodness. But it's funny that it was a similar pitch. I just can't imagine that you ever put yourself in a position to do that like all the time. And so it's interesting to actually pinpoint the one time that you did.
Well,
you know what?
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go, Ryan. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, because it made me think back to 09, the whole get me to the plate thing, right? And I just remembered, I don't know what happened. I just, again, another blackout moment over the course of my career. But when I went through it, because I knew what the situation was, and with like Houston Street, right? Because we're playing the Rockies, and Houston was my teammate in the fall league, so I'd gotten to see a lot of Houston like pitch, and so I was just like, all right, I know what he does, I know what his ball does. I'm like, if he does this, I'm hitting it out. Like, just give me to the plate, like I'm gonna hit it out. And then I just missed it and hit that top spin.
Yep.
And hit it off the wall. And so it's like one of those things where it just kind of comes together when you know exactly what a guy is gonna try to do, and you're feeling good enough to where it's like, hey, all right, if you get me to the plate, like this, we're gonna win this game because it's gonna go out.
FT fam, let's talk about Fair Harbor. And if you're listening, I hope that you watch this conversation at some point, because we're doing show and tell, Kratz. Shorts, they can be used as a bathing suit, and the liner, which we call butter, is the game breaker. It's the playmaker because it's different.
You've worn shorts that are not like this, and the liner sucks. They are buttery on your butt.
I just came up with something for them. Your liner sucks. Get Fair Harbor liner. Seriously, give it a shot. I'm not just saying this. The butter analogy plays. And FT fam, you know we're hooking you up.
So head over to fairharborclothing.com/foul20. Yes, that's FOUL 20 for 20% off your order. Once again, that's fairharborclothing.com/FOUL20 for 20% off. And make sure you use that promo code FOUL20. Well, Kyle Schwarber, when he finally hit his 50th, I know he said once he got to 49, he said he was kind of thinking about 50 a lot. Were you thinking after you hit 58, were you thinking, I can smell 60 those last few games, or no?
You know
or
what?
No?
It was, you know what? Subliminally, yeah. Right. Like but it wasn't like one of those things where I'm thinking about it every single day. It's just like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna get there. You know, I'm gonna get there, but I'm not trying to get there. You know what I mean? So it was like, it's gonna come by me just continuing to do what it is that I'm doing. And like I said, the guy in Houston that got hit in the chest, well, lost that one late. Lost that one late in the season.
That'd have been nice to get the 59, because then the 60 is right there.
Oh, it would be right there. But it's one of those things to where it's like, I was so young in my career. That was my first full season, to where it's like, okay, like you don't realize what you did until you actually get a chance to like sit back and look back on what you did. And I look at it, I'm like, I don't know what the hell happened that year. Like things just all came, because you look at it and you say, man, like, wow, like that was special. It was really special.
Yeah,
It sure was.
I don't want to. We really appreciate the time. I just got a couple more I wanted to ask you. When you had Chase on, you and Jimmy kept saying, "Oh, you were serial. You were serial," which I guess meant like mentally he was like a serial killer. Is that what that's coming from?
I
Okay.
mean, that's safe to say. That's safe
Yeah.
to say.
So we've had people on and they've told like a good chase story. Like, what's your good chase story? Is there a serial chase story that you could tell?
Wow. Chase, I mean, Chase, everybody got to see Chase like on the field. So Chase was always hard nosed. He was like, the hustle guy, all that. But Chase off the field was like a joker, man. Like he was sneaky. Chase was sneaky, man. And he'd be doing all kind of like jokes and stuff like that. I don't know if I got any uh good appropriate stuff because it's probably a family show.
You saw him.
But I mean, just what's that?
No, I was gonna say you've seen him smash helmets and bat racks and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, you know what's funny is like the things that I would always find funny. So Jimmy, Shane, Chase, and myself always hit in the same group, and we had Mick Billmeyer was our BP guy, and so like Ruben was you see it all the time. So it's like if Chase was kind of like scuffling, hitting wise, or he didn't feel good, like Chase would just have this mini explosion every once in a while during batting practice, and so. One time Mick's throwing and Chase just can't get his rhythm going. He's just feeling like crap or whatever. Swings, hits it into the top of the batting cage, fires his bat at the L screen. Right? And he's walking out. And then Mick just like fires a ball back into the batting cage, not throwing it at Chase, but he just fired it back in. I was like, I'm hitting after Chase. I always hit after Chase. And so I was like, all right, well, I guess we're ready to go. I don't know if he's swinging anymore, but be ready for this fastball. I'll get in here, go take these rounds and see what happens. But he would have some like hilarious snaps. And for all of us who knew Chase, like we're standing there, like Shane's dying laughing, Jimmy's dying, like I'm laughing, and I'm like, all right, Mick, you good, bro? Like we can take a little bit off if if you want.
Well, see, this is the great part about the 611 podcast you do with Jimmy. I was listening in the Pedro Martinez episode, and I also learned that Pedro called him a snapper or something like that, right? Because he was always snapping. He was always snapping. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, it was a good quality snap every once in a while, but you had to love his competitive nature and what it was. And Chase always went about playing the game the right way, and I loved him as Chase was one of those guys, and guys would say it, it's like you love him on your team and you hated playing against him.
Oh yeah,
because of how he played. You know what I mean? Like people would say, "Oh, Chase was dirty." I was like, "No, Chase isn't dirty. It's like he plays hard. Like we grew up watching baseball a certain way, and it's like if you're gonna go in, he's coming in and try to break up a double play, or he's trying to come in and break up, an out, so you don't get him so you don't get somebody else out. He's gonna play hard. He's gonna hustle, and that's what he did.
That's awesome. And then
hey, I had one more. I had one more question. I know, obviously, you've had an amazing career. It's so cool to see you do the stuff that you're doing off the field. We've had a couple of guests over time where they'll be like in some random place. Howie Roseman, it's happened to him, and I think Chase went through it in a couple of different places where people would randomly say like world effing champions or, stuff like that. Howie Roseman, go Birds. Have you been in like any weird or like remote places in your travels where people like come up to you, recognize and say, go Phils? Or have you had any of those types of experiences? Because we've heard some funny stories over the years and not sure if you've gone through that too.
So I got a twofold for you. So one, I was like, we went on vacation. We did like a European vacation this year, and a lot of Philly fans in Italy. So we ran into a lot of people from Philly, in Italy. But to give you the kind of fun thing, I was actually at a lucha libre wrestling match, and had a guy coming.
In Italy or in Mexico? In Mexico?
Here in Atlanta. There's a guy here in Atlanta that puts them on, And so a buddy of mine was like, "Hey, Ryan, like I'll be in town. You want to come to this Lucha Libre?" I was like, "All right, cool, let's go." So I went over there to that, and it was like that was an experience, man. It was interesting. It was like really cool and funny. It was like I enjoyed myself. It was like it was crazy.
So
But did have a person come up and say what's up? Yeah.
Phillies fans, man, Phillies fans, they are everywhere. There's no doubt
Oh,
about
everywhere.
it.
Everywhere.
And my last one is what tell me why you think this group, you said you kind of watched the Phillies. Why do you think this group might have a chance to win the World Series this year? What do you like about their chances, or what do you like about this team?
What I like about their chances is, I mean, obviously, look, as this day and age of ball, I think we're getting back to the point to where everybody's understanding how important starting pitching is in the postseason. During the regular season, you kind of get away with, letting guys go 5 innings or whatever. But I think, as I've always said, when a guy is going well, if you can get it to the right hands at the end, the less hands that have the opportunity to touch it, the less chances there are for somebody to mess up, right? So I think the importance of starting pitching and with this day and age, man, these guys have, barring now that, obviously with Wheeler out, you've still got 4 pretty good starting pitchers, right? So you've got Ranger, you've got Luzardo, you've got Sanchez, who's been amazing all year, and you got you got Nola, right? Where now most of the time with the way the postseason is, you really only need 3, because you got the off days in between to be able to continue to set up your rotations or whatnot. So I like that from that standpoint. Being able to either put guys kind of back to back if you need to, and you can set up your rotation however you want. I will put Ranger Suarez up against anybody's ace any day of the week, and that dude's going to give you an opportunity to win. Christopher Sanchez has been pitching out of his mind. He continues to do that. That right there, you got 2. You can put No and Luzardo, back to back as well. You still got Ty, whoever you want to throw on there. You still got some depth at that starting position. But what I also like is the bottom of the lineup has been coming through for the Phillies, and that is key. Rube, like when we were winning, everybody was hitting. The 1 through 5, those usual suspects are going to be what it's going to be. But I think where it's 1 is in the trenches, where you get those guys 6 to 9 that can get there. So it's almost like if those guys can continue to do what they're doing, and in the times where the top is not getting it done, but the bottom is starting to come through, that's going to give you more opportunity to sit there and try to go win as well. So these guys are clicking on all cylinders and play baseball. Get them on, get them over, get them in. It ain't sexy. The analysts don't like it, but damn it, we're about W's at the end of the day. So that's what it comes down to, is at this point, like all the other stuff kind of goes out of the window. You got to start playing baseball. Like if you got to play small ball, whatever it is that you got to do. The year they went to the World Series, they played small ball. They were bunting guys over, getting them on, getting them over, and getting them in. That's it. The Diamondbacks did it to them the next year. So if you notice, like when you get to the postseason, everybody starts kind of, okay, hey, the homer is great. We'll take it. But we've got to be able to manufacture runs, and that's what they've been able to do thus far towards the end of the season. And I think in order for them to do what they want to do and get to the mountaintop, you got to keep doing that. You got to find ways to get runs across the board.
Awesome
Chooch's walk off in the World Series, man. Ball hit about 3 feet in the plate and bounced straight up high to Evan Longoria. No shot.
That's right. Speed kills.
Exactly right. Well, Ryan, thanks a lot. Everybody, make sure to check out the podcast 611. Ryan Howard, cool. Jimmy Rollins. Can you tell us who your next guest is? Do you know who your next guest is? You want to tease it?
Right now, we have just done. We did one. We got one coming out. We got to keep people tuned in. So we got one where we like to do a couple of them with ourselves and just kind of like go back and forth. So
those are great.
Yeah, we're going to look at doing some reactionary stuff too over the course of the postseason. So, just continue to tune in 611 podcast and check us out.
Awesome.
Ryan, really cool, Ryan. Thanks so much for your time, man. It was a pleasure, and continued success on your stuff, man. It's cool.
No, man, back at you guys, man. Appreciate it. It was always fun.
The Philly Show is brought to you by the Foul Territory Network.
Subscribe to The Phillies Show on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.